Hello students, today we are starting the ninth session of second unit of SQC. So in previous session, in 8th session we have discussed the calculation of mean and standard deviation and mode. Okay, we have seen how to solve the problems related to mean, mode, standard deviation. Okay, so in this session we will see the session outcome, understanding normal curve. Okay, this is the ninth session and we are going to study detail about the normal curve. What is this normal curve? Okay, so the session outcome is understanding a normal curve. At the end of this session, a student should be able to clearly explain a normal curve. Okay, let's see the content of this session. Okay, first normal curve. So in normal distribution, normal curve is a bell-shaped symmetric form of a curve. Okay, so what is a normal curve? Normal curve we define it is an bell-shaped symmetric form of a curve. As shown in the figure, you can see the figure on the screen. Okay, it is an bell-shaped curve. It is symmetry about x-axis. Okay, it is symmetry about x-axis. So that is we call it as mean. It is symmetry about mean. So it is also known as normal low or normal probability curve. It is also known as normal low curve or normal probability curve. So on the figure you can see, so the shape is a bell shape and it is completely covered by, so it is completely defined by mean and standard deviation. On the screen you can see x bar and sigma I have written. Okay, so x bar and sigma indicates mean and standard deviation. So the curve is completely defined by this. So x-axis we are taking the mean. Okay, so in this curve the equation y is equal to 1 divided by sigma under root 2 into pi into e raised to x minus x bar mean divided by 2 sigma square bracket square. The mathematical equation of this curve is, okay, y. So this is a normal curve. So we are having 3 sigma, 2 sigma, 1 sigma. So we'll see what is that 3 sigma limit, what is the 2 sigma limit, and what is 1 sigma limit. So this is most important because in all manufacturing data, so we are consolidating the data in the normal curve. Okay. So we'll see the characteristics of normal curve. What are the characteristics of this normal curve? So the normal curve is symmetric about mean. This is very important. Okay. So normal curve, it is symmetric about the mean. That is the first characteristic. Next, in the normal curve, the mean, median, and the mode coincides. Okay. Mean, median, and modes are coinciding. Next characteristic is the area under the normal curve is considered as unity or 100%. The area under the normal curve, it is 100% or in terms of, or if you take fractions, it is 1 unity. Okay, so percentage, it is 100% or, so when you take in this one, it is unity. Next we'll see, as I told you, what is 3 sigma, what is 2 sigma, and what is 1 sigma. So the area covers 99.7% under the curve, 3 sigma. So 3 sigma, it covers 99.7%. Next, about 2 sigma, it covers 95.5%. So what is 2 sigma covers 99.5% and 1 sigma covers 68% of the area of the curve. 68% the area of the curve. And the curve is covered by the mathematical law. As I told you, mathematical law we are using here is y is equal to 1 by sigma into 2 phi into e raised to x minus x bar divided by 2 sigma square bracket square. So that is the mathematical law or formula of this normal curve. So one more point here, it is fully defined by x bar and standard deviation sigma. The curve, the the normal curve, it is fully defined by x bar and sigma. So that is your, these are all the characteristics of a normal curve. So in many of the question paper you get this question. So explain the characteristics of normal curve. So the student should be very familiar with this characteristics of a normal curve. So let's move on. So see, so in when the distribution is not known, one way of dealing with large population when there is insufficient data. So we are having large population and data is insufficient. Then we have to consolidate that data. So there we have having two options. First one is to take the number of random readings from the distribution and to find the arithmetic of that sample and repeat as many as samples as possible. So the population is large, we are taking a sample, we are calculating the arithmetic mean and we are repeating this process for as many as possible and we are getting a curve which I have shown in the red color. Okay, that is the one curve. One more option we are having, if the mean of these samples are plotted as a distribution and the resulting curve will be normal curve. Okay, so the result of that large population is taken and it is plotted in the normal curve and the arithmetic mean will be the arithmetic mean of this distribution of this unknown distribution. So when you get a normal curve, we can easily calculate the arithmetic mean. So, better way is to follow the normal distribution curve to get the perfect reading. So the normal curve, when we plot a normal curve, which I have shown in the yellow color, so you will be getting the, will be easily getting the unknown arithmetic mean. So moving on, so we are having some problems in this normal distribution curve. Okay, so I will read out the problem. You will make a note of this. From the past experience of the manufacturer concludes that the burnout time of a particular bulb, the manufacturer is normally distributed. A sample of 50 bulbs has been taken and tested. The found, average life found to be 60 days with standard deviation of 20 days. How many bulbs in the entire population of the light bulbs can be expected to require replacement after 100 days? So what he is telling? So manufacturer, so here according to his past experience, he has taken a sample of 50 bulbs. Okay, the average life found is 60 days. Okay, with the standard deviation of 20 days. How many bulbs in the entire population of the bulbs will be expected to have a replacement after 100 days? So he is telling that after 100 days, how many bulbs should be replaced? So we should draw a bell curve. Okay, so bell curve he has given us the mean. Okay, so at the center line we are taking 60 is the mean for the symmetry of the bell curve, and we have to mark the z value. What z value he has told us? He has told that how many bulbs require replacement after 100 days. So that we take is at z value. Z value is, so we have to calculate the area beyond that 100 days. So I have marked in the hatched line. So that you should calculate the area, the number of bulbs which will survive after 100 days. Okay. So the figure shows in the graphical form the mid of the curve, that is x bar, as I told you, it is 60 days. Okay. So we'll see the calculation. So the problem is to find the area under the curve beyond 100 days. Okay, as I told you, to calculate the area which is beyond 100 days. The area beyond 100 days is the probability that the bulb will will last more than 100 days. Okay. To find the area under normal curve, fraction z is to be calculated. Z is equal to x minus x bar divided by sigma. So x minus x bar divided by sigma, where z is the distance of x from the x bar in units of standard deviation. So we are taking z is equal to x minus x bar divided by sigma. So x he has given 100 days. What condition he has given? 100 days, that we are taking as x minus x bar. Mean he has given as 60 days and sigma he has given as 20. So the z value is 2. So here you should refer a normal table. So normal distribution table is there. You should refer this table, and for the value 2 you should calculate the area under normal curve. So from the table, okay, from the table you should uh, take the value z. So for z is equal to, the table value is 0.9773. So that is the z value from the table. So area beyond z. So beyond z we are calculating. Okay. So that we take is at 1 minus that value what we have got from the table. So 1 minus 0.9773, that is equal to 0.0227. Okay. So therefore the percentage of bulb that require replacement after 100 days is equal to, in terms of 2.27%. Should multiply that value, that area, into 100. So you get 2.27%. So only 2.27% require replacement after 100 days. That is the solution of the problem. Hope you have got the problem. So solve it, take your time and solve the problem. So moving on, I'm having one more problem. The normal curve has an average of 140.62 with standard deviation of 3.7. What percentage of area under the curve will fall between 135.5 and 142.5? What percentage of area falls beyond 145? So that is the problem he has given. For this problem, you should draw the normal curve. Okay, so you are drawing the normal curve. So taking x bar, taking x bar as mean. Okay, so he has given the mean x bar as 145.62. Okay, that you are taking it, and you are marking the values. Okay, x1, x2, x3, so on. So we are calculating the area z1, z2 and z3s. So he has asked the area between 135.5 and 142.5, that I have marked in the hatched line. Okay, so that is in between area, that is about the mean. Next, beyond, he has asked what percentage of area falls beyond 145, that I have marked using Z3. Okay, so like this you should draw a curve and you should solve the problem. So we'll see the solution of the problem. Here from the figure, so you calculate z1. Z1 is equal to x minus x1 minus x bar divided by sigma. So he has given three values. So I have taken x1, x2 and x3 I am taking. So x1 it is 131.5, x bar he has given 140.62 divided by the standard deviation 3.7. Okay, so you get the value of z is equal to 1.38. From the table, you calculate the area under the curve. Under normal curve, for z is equal to 1.3. For z is equal to 1.3, you are getting the table value as 0.0838. You are getting 0.0838. Okay, that is the value we are getting it. So again, same way you calculate z2. Z2 is equal to x2 minus x bar divided by sigma. There you are getting Z value as 0.5075. For that again we refer the table and calculate the area. You are getting is 0.6942. That is the area. So he is asking percentage of the area of the curve which fall between the two units 135.5 and 142.2. So we should minus these two values. Okay. So what value we have got? 0.6942 and minus 0.0838, the areas which you have got from the table. That you minus, you get 0.6104. In percentage, that is multiplied by 100, you are getting 61.04%. That is your answer for first question. So next, one more condition he has asked. The area beyond 145. Okay, so area beyond 145. So that's why we are taking Z3, x minus x bar divided by sigma. That is 145 minus x bar divided by this sigma value. Okay, so you are getting 1.183. That value you are getting 1.183. So for that 1.183 you calculate, you take the reading from the table. See the reading values from the table, you are getting 0.8816. So for that area beyond, he is asking the word beyond. So we have to minus 1 from that value. Okay, we should minus 1 from that value. So 1 minus that value of the table is 0.8816. You are getting 0.1184 multiplied by 100, you will get 11.84%. The area beyond 145 is 11.84. So this is the problem we have solved. Hope you have got the problem. You make a note so that we can move forward. Okay. So we'll see the assessment of this session. We are coming to the assessment of this session. So we are having some of the questions for you. So first, fill the blanks. First is fill the blank. Normal curve is dash about mean. A normal curve is dash about mean. Yes, student, give the answer. Normal curve is symmetry about mean. Symmetry is the first answer. Normal curve is symmetry about mean. Moving on to the second question. Dash is a bell-shaped curve. Dash is a bell-shaped curve. Yes, students? Yes? Normal curve is a bell-shaped curve. Normal curve is a bell-shaped curve. Like this. The third question. In normal curve, mode and medium dash. Normal curve, mode and medium dash. Yes, coincides. The answer is, right answer is coincides. Okay, mode and medium coincides in normal curve. That is the third question. Moving on, fourth question. Area of normal curve is dash. Area of normal curve is dash. Yes, students. Answer is 100% or unity. 100% or unity. Next, moving on. Fifth question. Normal curve is fully defined by dash and dash. normal curve is fully defined by dash and dash. Yes, x bar and mean. Correct answer is x bar and mean. These were the fill in the blanks. So I have a descriptive question for you. I have a descriptive question for you. You should solve this question. So in a deviation exactly normal, 7% of the items are under 35 and 89% are under 63. What are the mean and standard deviation of the distribution? So he has given. So in a deviation exactly 7% of the items are under 35 and 89% are under 63. So what are the mean and standard deviation of the distribution? So you should calculate the mean and standard deviation of this problem. So he has given the final answer 89% and 7%. So you should calculate the mean and standard deviation. Take this as an assignment and solve the problem and submit it to me. Okay. We are coming